What do we know at this point about the charges and the case that the SEC has against Binance and its CEO?
Well, yeah, it's both Binance and CZ. And as Paul rightly said, there are 13 civil charges here. This complaint was 136 pages long, so quite extensive. The allegations ranging from basic know your customer rules, violations basically that Binance was allowing U.S. Individuals and businesses to create accounts and trade on Binance.com when it was supposed to be operating, Binance U.S. was supposed to be operating independently. The SEC essentially alleging that independence didn't actually exist. There also are allegations of wash trading, which is basically a form of manipulation where the same entity is buying and selling an asset, alleging that Binance was able to inflate token prices via that manipulation method and that they weren't fully transparent about protections, that they misrepresented trading controls to prevent manipulation. They also, and this is a consistent pattern we see in SEC enforcement actions, are talking about Binance selling assets that are unregistered securities, BNB and BUSD, which are two of its native tokens. They say they failed to register that with Securities, the Securities and Exchange Commission before selling them. So really a bevy of allegations here. Now, we should say that Binance put out a pretty lengthy statement in response to this, saying that they are disappointed with this move from the SEC and that they do plan to defend the platform vigorously. They say any allegations that user assets on Binance US's platform have ever been at risk are simply wrong.
Kailey, this is not the only regulatory problem that Binance has got, is it?
No, it's not. This is just one regulatory agency here in the U.S. has filed charges recently. We also had earlier this spring the CFTC, the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, accusing Binance of violating derivatives rules. Then you have a separate investigation that the Department of Justice is conducting into sanctions evasion. So really they're kind of getting hit at every end here, potentially. Just larger regulatory headaches, not just for the exchange itself, but CZ, its CEO. And they really did, Binance, in their statement pushing back against the SEC's charges, point to the kind of the regulatory uncertainty here in the U.S., the turf war that exists between all the different regulatory agencies, and alluding to the fact that that makes it hard to cooperate when it's not exactly clear what the rules are. So they are trying to push some of the blame back on regulators themselves.
And this is the world's biggest crypto exchange at this point. So what implications does this have for prices, coins traded on Binance.com?
Well, the implications could be very large, certainly volume implications. If I would point out the SEC did ask for an injunction in this case, basically would be a freezing of the assets and put into receivership, which could actually disrupt the operations of the exchange, so that could have an impact. But then when it comes to some of the specific coins that are traded on Binance, the likes of Solana, for example, when the SEC is alleging that these were unregistered securities that were being traded, that could have wider implications across other exchanges as well. And that is why you saw it showing up in some of those token prices. Solana fell as much as 13% on the day. Cardano, another token that could be impacted, fell 8%. Bitcoin itself fell as much as 7%. So we are starting to see some signs of recovery, but clearly it is something that really dampened risk appetite in the crypto space. Just another reminder that the regulatory scrutiny is still very much there.